Sometimes, situations can get beyond the worst. We come to see strange incidents in our daily lives, but incidents where people try to baffle the law are hilarious. A similar incident has been under the spotlight on social media these days. The video of a criminal jumping madly on the judge is going viral these days. It was taken at the Regional Justice Center in Las Vegas on Wednesday. It shows a man attacking a judge during his sentencing just because his probation was denied. The evidence is such a violent scene captured on camera during a live court session. This video will discuss this shocking incident and reveal what happens inside a courtroom when such furious criminals try to attack the judges or other court members, just in case. Without further ado, let's take a little backstory of the entire incident. According to witnesses and officials, Debra Delone Redden is the man who carried out the attack, probably in reaction to the judge refusing his probation. He leaped over the defense table and the judge's bench, landing on top of the victim and igniting a violent altercation between guards and attorneys. Everything happened in the blink of an eye when the judge was reading the words, according to the rules of the state of ADV court, and, suddenly, the criminal cut her words while jumping on her.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
In a violent incident seen on tape, Clark County District Judge Mary K. Holthus slumped back from her seat against a wall. Officials from the courthouse said she was hurt, but not hospitalized. While supporting the judge, a courtroom marshal also suffered injuries, reports the officials and witnesses. The attendees took him to the hospital for treatment for a dislocated shoulder and a gushing gash on his forehead. Debra Delone Redden, the defendant, was placed under arrest on a $54,000 bond. After refusing to appear in court on Thursday about further allegations, the judge adjourned his next appearance for January 9. Redden is accused of 13 crimes, including forceful coercion and extortion. Other crimes include battery on a protected person, robberies, theft in houses, and more. However, his illegal action in the court further complicates the case for him, as he charged for battery on the judge and the cops who aided her. Debra Delone Redden was the defendant when several court, jail, and staff members, some of whom are seen punching, were seen wrestling him to the ground behind the judge's bench. During the hearing, Redden and his attorney asked Judge Mary K. Holthus for probation rather than time behind bars, saying the 30-year-old is getting his life back on track with a new job and plans to resume his education. Note that when Redden came to court on Wednesday, he was not under arrest. Standing next to Almas, he asked the judge for leniency, characterizing himself as a person who never stops trying to do the right thing no matter how hard it is. He was wearing a white shirt and dark slacks. He told the judge, "I'm not a rebellious person," and that he didn't think he ought to go to jail. But if it's appropriate for you, then... People who had been sitting with Redden in the courtroom screamed as Redden charged forward, yelling expletives as the judge made it clear that she planned to throw him behind bars. It was the moment right when the court marshals went to handcuff him. Redden has been convicted of several felonies, according to KLAS. Richard Scow, the lead county district attorney who prosecuted Redden in a case that started with an arrest made on accusations that Redden attacked a person with a baseball bat last year, said, "It happened so fast, it was hard to know what to do." After being taken into custody, he was lodged at the Clark County Detention Center, where documents revealed he was facing numerous new felonies, one of which was battery on a protected person. Judge Mary K. Holthus had stated before last week's attack that Redden's record required a taste of something else, in addition to the virtual freedom he was pursuing in a separate case involving an alleged attempt at battery with significant harm. Evidence and reports tell that Redden entered a guilty plea and was found guilty of 3 felonies: attempted theft in 2015, battery causing great bodily harm in 2018, and battery amounting to domestic abuse in 2021. In 2023, he was found guilty of minor property destruction after having been found guilty of a misdemeanor battery offense in 2016. To face Judge Mary K. Holthus on Wednesday, Redden entered a guilty plea in November to the allegation of attempted violence with significant bodily damage. Judge Hollis asked the defendant to continue the allocution statement after the prosecutor concluded his argument. Mr. Redden, is there anything you want to say on your behalf? It is the right of all criminals to say their words, show their guilt, or promise to improve their morals. It is called allocation. A defendant who enters a guilty plea is usually given a formal chance to address the court, confess, and clarify any personal circumstances that may have affected the sentence. The allocution statement gives defendants a chance to own up to their mistakes, show empathy for one another, and reduce the severity of their punishments to guarantee that the individual who committed the crime and the crime itself receive just punishment. Judge Holthus had no idea how this would end up, though. Redden showed confidence in his better mental health by opening up about his past criminal background and charges, both felonies and misdemeanors. He was determined to be mentally competent to stand trial despite his request for mercy and dedication to making positive changes. The criminal believes that he has improved his life and mental health, so he makes one more request for mercy. He talks about not committing crimes right now to establish his credibility. It was Redden's statement to the judge when she asked for his allocution. I would like to tell the courts and everyone here that, based on my criminal history, I feel like I shouldn't be sent to prison for a second time. The judge interrupted him with a must-asked question. Have you looked at your criminal history? To which he confidently replied, I actually just looked at that. Here, the judge got intensive on the criminal's attitude as she reminded his glorious past with all those felonies, DVs, battery attacks, house invasions, and whatnot. She said, You've got a lot going on, sir, as she continued reading her criminal history. Redden continued, I just figure like I am in a better place in my mind, my mental health. I have a support system. The reason behind every single domestic violence, we've been dealing with mental health. I didn't know I was dealing with mental health. They put me in mental health court, and I still didn't know I had a mental health problem until it was August 2022, when I realized I have a problem with this, like having a dictionary, and I understand myself and know myself a little better. And I applied it to my personality and had an epiphany at that moment, and just like trying to learn from my mistakes, you know. The prosecutor offered 1948, but Redden's lawyer suggested suspension rather than jail because of Redden's likelihood of success on probation. With years of judicial expertise, Judge Holthus seemed dubious about this proposition. The judge said, I understand that, but I think it's time for him to try something else because I just can't. With that history. When she was about to announce the decision, Redden yelled, F***. A few seconds later, as he dashed toward the judge, jumped over the bench and attacked her. The footage shows Redden tackling Holthus to the ground, and both vanish from view behind the table. Abruptly, the situation gets out of hand, and the courtroom gets chaotic. Redden yelled, F***, and landed many fists as courtroom attendees attempted to hold him down. The judge appeared to indicate she banged her head as she remained on the ground for a few minutes before getting up.
History. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
According to a statement from Clark County courts, Holthus experienced some injuries. The court's spokesperson, Mary Ann Price, issued a statement in which she stated that authorities were reviewing all our protocols and will do whatever is necessary to protect the judiciary, the public, and our employees. District Attorney Steve Wolfson of Clark County remarked, Thank God the judge is okay, in a statement that KLAS cited. We are grateful for the selfless actions of those who rescued her, particularly her marshal and law clerk. The case would have been far worse without them since the defendant acted in a very violent manner, and I'm sure there will be repercussions. According to Steve Wolfson, the district attorney for Clark County, Holthus was shaken up as most people would be, a couple of bruises on Thursday. However, I'm overjoyed that she's all right. According to Steve Wolfson, the district attorney for Clark County, the suspect has a criminal history primarily of violent offenses, with 3 felonies and 9 misdemeanor convictions. Because Redden poses a flight risk and an extreme danger to the community, he added. He should be detained without bond. Wolfson claimed that he has been violent his entire adult life. Cesar Almas, Redden's defense lawyer on Wednesday, remained silent on Thursday. The court declared, "We applaud the courageous actions of her staff, law enforcement, and all others who subdued the defendant. We are examining all of our procedures and will take all necessary steps to safeguard the public, our employees, and the judiciary. To increase security, the court has met with its security contractor to add extra guards, and Weesey stated that more security enhancements are being considered." He emphasized that Wednesday's circumstances are unusual. The court staff members are committed to the administration of justice and the court. Nevertheless, Redden is not one of them. The judge and court officers stated that he was then taken into custody and lodged in the Clark County Detention Center, where he was charged with multiple felonies, one of which was battery on a protected person. With more legal issues to deal with, Redden's hope of probation seems improbable. According to Weesey, as far as I know, this is a very unique situation where somebody is supermanning over a judicial bench. When courtroom marshal Shane Brandon charged Redden, he lacerated his face and dislocated his shoulder, according to the police. According to the arrest record, Redden was charged with hitting a prison officer, and one of the law clerks involved in the altercation received cuts to his hand. Redden allegedly spat on a police officer during the altercation in the courtroom, according to the prosecution. But is it all? Or is there some other conspiracy involved in the incident? A security guard from the courtroom argues, "I am not a disobedient person. No matter how difficult it is, I am someone who never gives up trying to do the right thing." But it's depressing and pitiful that the judge, who was only carrying out her duties, didn't deserve such an incident. Redden couldn't be separated from the judge without the assistance of 3 other guys in the courtroom. A belligerent Redden is repeatedly struck by one of them, who appears to be a court clerk. Fortunately, the judge was not seriously hurt and was not hospitalized. Things have always double sides. We only trust and know what we see or what the public wants us to see. But what about the other side of the mirror? Nobody knows. Don't forget to share your thoughts about this insane event that happened on screen, inside the judicial territories. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon to receive all the updates at the earliest. Thanks for watching.